Gethin Reviews here, back with a new video. The start of my new series, reviewing movies, monster movies basically. So today, I decided why not review Shin Godzilla, or Shin Godzilla, Godzilla Resurgence, Godzilla 2016, whatever. I just call it Shin Godzilla because that's what they called it in theaters, so I'm going to call it that. Now, I got it on DVD by the time I'm recording this today, and you might be thinking, oh, it's just the Japanese version, but no. I got this from Monster Island Toys or the GodzillaSuperstore.com. If you just type in Godzilla Superstore on Google, because if you type in Monster Island Toys, it'll just show you their website to the Chicago one. So, sorry, knocked over the tripod. As you can tell, I'm not very qualified, I guess. So, yeah, this I actually have English subtitles. Fan subtitles, I guess? I don't know. Back, just red. And the front is that really cool poster I really like. I'm glad they had this one instead of the other one. And inside is the disc, if you can see it right there. The disc and a little mini poster. So, yeah, subtitles were very good. Yeah, so, let's review the movie. So the movie starts off with, it cuts immediately to the action. Well, kind of. It's not like, oh, character development. Here's the problem. More character, you know? It's like starts off immediately with crap hits the fan immediately. So, there's this, I can't remember any of the characters' names, I'm sorry, because I remember the director's name and the guy who made the soundtrack's name. That's it. Me being an American citizen, it's hard to memorize Japanese names. So, okay, so there's this guy that was missing, there's this guy that's missing on this boat, and he left his shoes there, so they thought it was suicide, because in Japan, I guess, if you commit suicide, you leave your shoes. I think. I don't know. So, and then all this, like, weird, wet, red liquid, which is blood, but they don't know it, comes spurting out of the ocean. They think it's a volcanic eruption, and the main character says, what if it's a giant organism? And they're like, that's preposterous. And before this movie, it's a allegory for, I forgot what it was called, but it was like this tsunami or flood in Japan, and it's basically a satire of how the government reacted, which I heard they reacted very poorly. So the government's like, that's preposterous, and then right after, on the news, they're like, turn on the news, and then there's this tale of Kamikamatsu-kun, I think its name. No, the first form, and by the way, if you didn't know, the blood is it evolving, so, and then, they find out it has legs, so they say, well, can it come on land? And someone tells I don't know, just someone in the highest command in Japan, I don't know, that, no, it's too big. If it were to crawl on land, it would be crushed and killed immediately, which I like because scientists like this thing saying if Godzilla actually exists, he would be crushed by his own weight. So, yeah, but right after they say that, it's on land. But what I love is, as he's saying it to, like, the public, some guy comes and he's like, sorry for the interruption, sir. And he whispers in his ears, like, it has? Yeah, that's one of the more comedic parts of this film. Then, the creature comes on land, Kamikamatsu-kun. The reason why I'm looking up there is because the figure of Kamikamatsu-kun is up there, but I don't want to show you, because, I don't know, I bet you've seen it all over the internet. It's become a meme now. Godzilla's a meme, great. But, yeah, he crawls on land, and then blood starts pouring out of his gills. The one thing, people say it looks goofy, the design. The only thing I find goofy about the design is the little chicken arm, the chicken wing arm thing, when it shows the front of it and it's like that. It makes sense for it to have big eyes because it's a fish creature thing. I mean, most fish have really big eyes. So yeah, then it evolves. Okay, so before that, the highest ranking in Japan tells them they're allowed to use force, and they send like a couple of helicopters. But then Kamakamatsu-kun evolves to Shinagawa-kun, and it's now red. And when I was in the theater, I saw this in the theater the day it came out. When he roared the 1954 roar, I was like, oh yeah, because I mean it was the 1954 roar, and it has that theme from Akira Ifukube, where it's like dun 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 dun, you know, when in 1954 Godzilla comes out of the ocean and starts walking. So yeah, it plays that when he's evolving, which is cool. Then the helicopters come, but they didn't know it evolved, so they're like, hey, we weren't told, this doesn't look like what we were told. So, and then they were about to shoot it, which, by the way, would have killed it probably, since it didn't evolve too much. It wasn't evolved too much, it was only in its third form, Pokemon vibes. But they didn't shoot it because there were still civilians in the city. It was like a homeless couple, I think, I don't know. And they're like, don't use force. And when you think back to the movie, you're like, oh my god, they could have killed it. You could have saved the world right there. But yeah. And then it notices something wrong with its back, and it's glowing, so it runs to the ocean. Then they find out it was overheating because it didn't have a way to get rid of all that heat, because it's basically a walking nuclear reactor, basically, to quote Pacific Rim. And then they're trying to figure out how to stop it, basically. And when they're figuring out all the stuff, that's probably the most funny part, because you have the pink scarf guy, someone else, I can't remember. Yeah, you have the pink scarf guy, which I love, of course. But I love the part when the guy's on the computer, and the guy's like, "Ah!" And he's screaming, like, is that possible? And then he runs with the laptop. That was really funny. Then, after all that, Godzilla comes back as his fourth form. And when they say Godzilla's now in his fourth form, it's like Pokemon. It's like Pokemon vibes. Great, Godzilla's now a Pokemon. Yay. Sorry, this is my first review. I'm not that qualified, really. Okay, so Godzilla's on land. Now they're gonna use force, finally. They have, like, 3 or 4 phases, I can't remember. One is, like, they're using the machine gun, and they use, like, 1,650 or 40 rounds, and it did nothing, which is... But we knew Godzilla was pretty much unstoppable when it comes to normal weapons. He can be killed, obviously, by the oxygen destroyer. What else? Oh, yeah, he was in a volcano in the 84 one. And then the other one he melted, but I don't know. But this one, he's a little bit more vulnerable than the other ones, which kind of makes sense, of course. Later in the film, when this involves everything, of course, when he's still walking, and he's just walking, doing nothing. He's just destroying. Oh, he's doing nothing. He's just destroying and killing innocent people. Then America comes, which Japan authorized their attack, of course, and they have some penetrator bombs, and it hits him in between his spikes. That's where his heat expels. Like, he evolved from the third form, Shinagawa-kun, where his heat was, like, now he's evolved to perfect himself. But they hit him in there, and actually blood comes out, which is, I think, no, not the first time we've seen Godzilla bleed. We've seen him bleed in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Terror Mechagodzilla, and a bunch of other films, sorry. But it's like a bunch of blood starts pouring into the ground, and he's like, ugh. And then he roars. You can tell he's, yeah. And then he does his atomic breath, which, here's where fans are a little iffy with the split jaw. He, like, splits his jaw like this, but it's not like the Predator. It has, like, a membrane or something connecting to it. I like how he splits his jaw. I think it's cool. Then he splits his jaw, and it plays Who Will Know, which, by the way, later I'll talk about the soundtrack. Smoke comes out, and it's just smoke. It's like this black smoke stuff. And then it turns into fire. It, like, ignites into flames. And then it, like, concentrates into this, like, beam, which is, like, super thin. Like that, kind of. And it's purple. I like the purple. Fun fact, purple in Japan is the color of death, so... That's not a joke, literally. And then it has this beam, and it hits the Prime Minister, finally. That came to me last minute. Prime Minister. It got the Prime Minister while he was in a helicopter, killed him. Yeah, and then the Americans drop some more penetrator bombs, and then he has the back lasers, which fans are even more iffy about, which, honestly, I think it's good. I like it. And then, it's like, holy crap, this thing cannot be stopped now. You had your one chance with, Kamata-kun and Shinagawa-kun, and you were just like, no, 2 people in the city? No, we can't do it. Yeah, and basically a bunch of people get blown up. Airstrikes get blown up, everything gets blown up, explosions, Michael Bay everywhere. And then he gets rid of his beams, back beams, and then goes back to the atomic breath, and then it concentrates back into the fire, which I thought it was cool. A lot of noobs, I guess, I don't want to call them noobs, just newcomers to the Godzilla series, always say he breathes fire, and that reminded me of that, which was really funny. Yeah, and then he like walks and then falls asleep, which he freezes like a vinyl figure, which is really weird to me. Yeah, he freezes and he expelled so much energy that he had to just collapse and fall asleep. So, America here, and, okay, the penetrator bombs, they find a severed dorsal plate, or spike, whatever, from Shin Godzilla when they had the penetrator bombs, and, it's starting to grow a whole new body, which in the deleted scene, the chunk that falls down is actually starting to grow a face. I would have liked that with the spike growing a new body. But, yeah, yeah, it's like not spike, dorsal fin is growing a whole new body. So, that would mean the whole world could be covered with a bunch of mutated creatures. And America won't have any of that and says, hey, Japan, if you can't come up with a plan in like 4 or 5 weeks, we're gonna nuke, when Godzilla wakes up, we're gonna nuke Japan. So, all that crap's going on, and they come up with a plan to freeze him with blood coagulant. Yeah, they have a plan to freeze him with blood coagulant. They have a plan to freeze him with blood coagulant, which, they don't explain if it neither freezes him or his body freezes itself to stay alive. I honestly think it just froze him. I don't know. But yeah, they have this plan to freeze him with blood coagulant. So then they go with these trains filled with bombs. And the trains get back revenge on Godzilla. Like, you know how Godzilla would always pick up trains, throw them down and such. Trains are having revenge here. They come, they blow up Awakened Godzilla, and then they make him use all of his energy so that they can have the blood coagulant stuff forced to him. And he uses all of his beams and such. And then he has a tail beam now, which I'm okay with. I mean, seems like I'm okay with anything pretty much. But I felt like the tail beam was a little bit to me too. I was fine with it, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm still like, I don't know. It's starting to grow on me. I don't know. And, yeah, he uses his tail beam, which fans are even more, iffy about. I don't know. So, they make him use the stuff, and then they have these buildings collapse on him. Now buildings have revenge on Godzilla in this one. They collapse on him, he falls, then they have the blood coagulant stuff forced down his throat, I guess. I don't know, it was in his mouth. And then he breathes his atomic breath. Then they do it again, this time with trains, and they, like, blow up. Which, it looked like they were being pulled by strings rather than being forcefully, like, you know, blown up there. I don't know. Maybe that was intentional, just, like, this is an homage to the Showa series for sure. Yeah, then he falls down, he gets frozen solid. Then America is like, once Godzilla unfreezes, we're going to nuke Japan. And, okay, so the ending. The ending, a lot of people, I don't know if they like it or not. I definitely do. He has, like, creatures on his tail, which the art of Shin Godzilla confirms that that's his 5th form, which I think it looks cool. I mean, first I thought it was just, like, he was cloning himself so that he could have himself and these little creatures running around, but I guess what I would love is a giant version of his 5th form. That'd be cool. And then there's another creature in his tail, which we don't know about yet. It looks like a human, like a bottom jaw with, like, sharp teeth, I don't know. And the thing that could come out would be Godzilla's 1st form, and that would be a great way of showing his 1st form. And then it evolved into Kamata-kun, then Shinagawa-kun, and then his 4th form, and it's like an endless cycle, you know? Just theorizing here. Okay, so the director, Hideaki Ono, is the director of Evangelion, which he did a great job with this movie, really liked it. And the soundtrack is amazing. That's one of the best things about this film, the soundtrack. Shiro Saiguchi, I believe his name, who did the soundtrack, fantastic. My favorites are Black Angels, Defeat is a No Option, or The Offensive, and what's the other one? Persecution of the Masses, yeah. So, those are my favorites. So, I'd say, is Shin Godzilla worth it to add to your DVD shelf? I'd say yes. Not only for Godzilla fans, obviously Godzilla fans are going to be picking this up, but to any monster movie fan, I bet you'd find some enjoyment out of this movie. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 stars. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And, this is not gonna count as a Saturday review. Saturday's review, I'm gonna start something which I wanted to see people review, but never reviewed, so see you guys later. Bye.